Hello? Just gonna wait for the subs to come in, or the watchers, the viewers. And I'm gonna do just a little bit of a short recap on the Nancy Guthrie situation. If you're watching on the replay, you may want to fast forward a bit just to get to the conversation. I'm gonna wait for people to come in, so I'm just not talking to the air. I wasn't planning on going live today, but I decided to do so. Oh, hey, Leanne. You're the first one here. Welcome in. Hey, Kellyanne. Welcome back. So basically, my iPad, Leanne, and Kellyanne are here. Hey, we're up to 5. Oh, thanks for the red hearts and the smiley faces. Thank you so much. Just waiting for a few people. I just went on the air. I wasn't going to go on the air today. Hey, Brian. Yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm not a day person. I'm a night person. And then with the time change, it just screwed me up so bad. And then the morning pill alarm went off. Oh, and speaking of the alarms, hold on. I forgot to set Do Not Disturb. And had that alarm gone off there's an alarm that's set to go off at 4. Somebody remind me. That would have knocked our audio out of our live. I hope you're doing well, Brian. Yeah, a lot has happened since yesterday, but not too much on the Nancy Guthrie case. So that's why I hesitated to go live, but then I thought it might be better to go live on a Sunday rather than a Monday. I really need a day of rest, but I'm not a nap person. I didn't even put on my makeup that I just bought. Hey, Calvin, how are you? Where are you coming in from, Calvin? We're going to let a few more people come into this chat. Hey, 24. We're ready to go. Before I get into the Nancy Guthrie case, let me just remind you guys, if you're new here, that I am April Davis PI, and it is Sunday, March 8th, 2026. I'm live here from Los Angeles. Brian says, I have been wondering what is on your hat. That's my Wi-Fi mic. Let's just get some admin stuff out of the way. And we're not going to do a celebration here because this is about Nancy Guthrie. And that's a very sad situation. But I do have to mention that today, I was on a live stream, actually watching a live stream that I'm involved in every Sunday from Canada. And during that live stream, my YouTube channel hit 2,000 subscribers. Yay! Hey, Steve, Huey. So for everybody that has been watching me, that has subscribed, thank you. You guys, you're more than friends. You're my YouTube family. Thank you so much. I love you all. I don't know if I'm going to do a celebration because I'm not monetized again yet, and I need a lot more watch hours. So maybe we'll have a big party for that if that ever happens again. Thank you, Leanne. But I just wanted to go on the air really quick and talk about Nancy Guthrie. Today is number 36, day 36. This crime occurred exactly 6 weeks ago today. Well, actually, it's the start of the 6th week, day 36. I can't even believe it. 6 Sundays ago this happened. I just can't believe that this is still going on. There are a couple of updates. People were concerned about a command post, a police command post that was set up the last couple of days in Phoenix. That was regarding a body in a canal. A body has been retrieved. It is apparently not Nancy Guthrie. Apparently it has nothing to do with the Nancy Guthrie case, so they're saying. So whoever that is, I'm sorry, but it is not related to this case, apparently. I didn't think that it was. Also, I need to re-emphasize something I mentioned on my last live, which I guess was yesterday. I don't know. All the days are mixed up with the clock change, and I did a live yesterday. I did a long-form content. If you guys haven't watched that, please watch that. And I even did a short that I spent about a minute making. I put no effort into it whatsoever, and that short has more views than everything else I did yesterday combined. Like, go figure. But that doesn't count for anything as far as views. But go check out the short, go check out the long form content, and you can check out yesterday's live if you missed it. But I need to reiterate, wow, 34 people. I keep interrupting myself. Please give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please do so. I hit 2K today. Hit that bell button and click the all if you'd like to get notified of any time I go live or post a video or do a premiere. So the body in the canal apparently has nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie, but I want to reemphasize that there had been some erroneous reporting last week that Annie and Tommaso had their car returned to them by the Pima County Sheriff, and that is absolutely not true. Unless it's happened today, which I doubt, that is absolutely not true. They still have possession of the car. Remember, they did take that car into evidence probably within the first week of Nancy's disappearance, and we are starting week 6, and Annie Tommaso, they do not have custody of their vehicle. It is considered a piece of evidence in an active criminal investigation. Doesn't mean that they're responsible or involved in any way, but it is still a piece of evidence, and there is a rumor that they put it into a repair shop to put it back together. I don't know if that's true. Oh, hey, Cousin Brenda, how you doing? Thanks for coming. This is going to be a short one today. If you missed the earlier part of this, I did hit 2K today, but we're not going to celebrate that here. This is about Nancy. I probably won't even do a long form celebration because I'm not at the monetization point yet. I'm just a little bit more than halfway there. So no celebrating that today. I mean, I'm celebrating it, but I just want to be able to go to bed early tonight and sleep. That'll be enough celebration for me. So starting day 36, or starting week 6, day 36, body canal, nothing to do with Nancy. Annie Tommaso's car has not been returned. I repeat, like a broken record, Annie Tommaso's car is a piece of evidence in an active criminal investigation. Regarding masked man at the front door that has the antenna sticking out of the right coat pocket, which could obviously be a walkie-talkie, also known as a radio. We use them all the time on surveillance. Cell jammers. People are saying it might have been a cell jammer, or there may have been a cell jammer used by one of possible multiple suspects. That is possible. Now, Nancy's door cam did not go down at that time. However, the neighbors that are behind her house, and there's quite some distance because there's desert land, even though they're sitting in the desert, there's some actual desert, like wildlife space between her house and the neighbor behind her. Their rear-facing cameras that would face in her direction, although too far to see her house, both of those cameras were disabled for an unknown reason the night of the crime, during the time that the police are interested in and the FBI is interested in the footage between, this day and this day and this time and that time. Their back-facing cameras both state no video available. Apparently there may be other neighbors who also suffered an internet Wi-Fi outage at the same time. So, cell jammers is some pretty serious business, but so is abduction, kidnapping, and possible murder. The same people whose cameras that were facing towards her property went down, their dog woke up in the middle of the night. Oh, thank you, Buying Space. I appreciate it. Their dog woke up and insisted on going outside. And apparently their dog doesn't normally wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom out back, but they wanted to go to the backyard The dog wanted to go to the backyard, and the dog was focused on Nancy's property. You know, when a dog like sees something or senses something, even my animals, you know, my rabbit, my cat, they'll sense something and they'll have that look. That dog woke his owners up, insisted on going outside to the backyard, and was staring down her property in the dark. That dog heard something. Oh, hey, Humble. Did her daughter go back to work? If you're talking about Savannah, she did go back to New York, but she's not yet at work. Buying space, I think we already said this, but, you know, tired, brain's not working. Congratulations on the 2K anyway. Thank you. Hey, Humble, you know, I am so tired. I made 3 videos yesterday, Humble, and one of them was set for a premiere. And literally, you know, I guess it's old age or overtiredness or being sick for so long, I forgot about it and didn't come to my own premiere until 5 minutes late. Of course, I don't have very many people come in for premieres, so I did get your message when you said hello. I'm sorry I didn't respond back immediately. I don't know what time you came in, if you even saw me there, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm late to my own premiere. It was just you and Kermudge and Jason E. Minor, and me. That was it. But thank you for coming, Humble. Melody Walker, why would anyone take an 84-year-old woman? Very strange. Money or revenge. It's only one of 2 things. Who was the lady with the Florida license plate that JLR saw yesterday? She walked up to the porch. I don't know, but I did see like some scenes here and there where a woman kept walking up to the porch. It seemed kind of weird, but I don't know her identity. And we also haven't heard about the guy James that came and accused an Arizona lawyer of knowing where Nancy was. I don't know what happened to that guy. And he was either, I was told or I've heard that he was either possibly intoxicated or was having some sort of mental health issue. Jason Bender, welcome. Hello, I'm not doing premieres anymore. I'm 87 years old. Oh, wow. I was a private secretary for George W. Bush Jr. when he owns the Texas Rangers. Do you like to joke around and tell jokes? You know, I'm not much of a comedian, but if you're interested in the Texas Rangers, Jason, you need to see my long-form content video yesterday, because I actually got some mail yesterday from the Texas Rangers. So funny that you would mention that. Did you happen to see the video, or are you just coming in by chance, Jason? Wow, Bush Jr. Yeah, you'll have to see my video about the mail I got from the Texas Rangers. If you're not subscribed, Jason, please do so, and welcome. Where are you coming in from, Jason? Margaret Mann, welcome. If our FBI hadn't blown up and senior agents lost, we would have found her by now. Very possible, Margaret. The same thing goes, though, for the Pima County Sheriffs. There's been problems for years in that department, and many of the veteran detectives had left. It's very reminiscent of the John Benet Ramsey mess-ups, screw-ups, F-ups, whatever you want to call it. Not enough experienced detectives at the moment. And you know, the FBI, somebody asked me this yesterday, why wasn't the FBI brought in from the beginning? And that's because they didn't know the day of that this happened that it was a possible kidnapping. FBI agents don't get called in for abductions, murders, homicides. They get called in for kidnappings. And it wasn't until at least the following day, later in the day, that a local TV news station received a ransom. So they weren't called in until maybe late Monday or Tuesday. And by that time, the crime scene had already been unsecured. Melanie Walker says, sounds like a cover-up. I don't know what's going on, Melanie. There's nothing about this case that's typical or makes sense. Hey, you know, I got 23 people in here. And if you want to celebrate my 2K subscriber count today, yeah, that only took, what, 5+ years? Send me a thumbs up. That'll make me very happy. It'll help this video. Kellyanne Sullivan, they blamed the family for years on her death. Oh, you mean John Bonet? Yes. And I'll tell you right now, without getting into details that I can't talk about, I don't believe that the family is involved in any way. Brian Blankenship, is it still possible that it is an inside job? Of course it's still possible it's an inside job. Either somebody's targeting Savannah Guthrie, or this is somebody close to her that took her. It's not a legit kidnapping. It's not the drug cartel. It's not a botched robbery or a burglary. So now that gets it down to she was kidnapped by somebody close to her, or it was somebody targeting Savannah Guthrie personally, or targeting her mother for Savannah's money. It's just one of two. It's like I said from day one, we're back to square one on this. Buying space, they probably thought it was a silver alert. No, I don't think so, because of the blood and the broken cameras. In fact, they called the homicide unit immediately the day that they came to the house, thinking that it was a missing persons case of a senior, and then as soon as they got to the house, they called homicide. And that's very, very rare for that to happen in a missing persons. They knew right away that something was horribly wrong. Absolutely doesn't fit with a silver alert. And those do happen every day, but not in this case. Oh, Margaret Mann says thumbs up. Thank you if you hit the thumbs up tab. 24 people watching, 9 thumbs up. Hit those red hearts. And I don't see my mods today. You know, I saw one of my mods today. I was watching a live. I was on a live stream in Canada, and one of my mods was there. Another mod had a death in the family, so she won't be here. And I have no idea where my primary mod is right now, so everybody behave. Thank you, Melody. Yeah, so basically, cell jammers may or may not have been involved. The neighbor to the rear, their back cameras, 2 back-facing cameras, went down the night of. Cell jammers don't work for very far. The body in the canal in Phoenix is not related, according to the police. And I will say it again, Annie and Tommaso do not have their car back unless it's happened today, which I doubt on a Sunday. Their car is a piece of evidence in an active criminal investigation. Sant says, oh, welcome, Sant. The Lifeboat, the YouTube shows Nancy Guthrie. What? Fetish XS cult on 3.6 and part 2 on 3.7 explains how Tommaso, Sione, Derek, Kalala, and Kayla Day are all connected. Is this like a YouTube video, Sant? And is the username The Lifeboat? Yeah, Derek Kalala, he's just the guy in LA that sent the copycat text, or the copycat ransom demands, but he sent it in text. And Kayla Day, she's been in the slammer since February the 12th on the warrant issues regarding the drug cases. But it still might be an interesting watch. But I kind of already don't believe it. I'm thinking about wandering off myself, says Buying Space. Hi, Jane Rice. Yes, Brian, that is absolutely true. Brian says, I may be wrong, but I have been told that most victims know their killer. Is that true? Yes. It's highly unlikely that you'll be killed by a stranger or a serial killer. Sant 1982, The Lifeboat is the channel, yes. I'll check that out, Sant. It'll give me something to do while I'm Trying to finally sleep tonight. I have enough sleep problems as is, and then you throw all this health stress in with it and a clock change and then an alarm going off early this morning. I was just toast. But thank you for letting me know that, Sant. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys that are watching the lives are also watching the long form content, although I've only done like 4 in the last couple of months, which is highly unusual for me. I've just been focusing on the Nancy Guthrie case, but I did do a short yesterday, a long form content. It's basically a mail call, but it's pretty cool. And at least it was for me. I don't do mail calls too often. So if you guys aren't watching those, please do. I got to get the watch hours up. I really don't even want to celebrate. I'm happy about the 2K subscribers. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm not excited, but it's not really going to mean a lot to me until the watch hours get built. And even though people are watching now every day, for every day that they add the hours, they take the back end day away. So it goes up a click, it goes down a click. Then it goes up a click, then it goes down a click. So it's a very slow crawl to get back to where I need to be. So thank you to everybody here that's been watching on repeat or loop or just watching and commenting on all the other videos. I appreciate that. But yesterday's the long form content regarding the mail call, that was just fun for me. Because if you don't know, I'm a baseball fan. Hi, Anik Blogs. How are you doing? Where are you guys coming in from? Everybody, you want to type in the chat where you're coming in from? I'm in Los Angeles, California, in the San Fernando Valley. I'm a Valley girl, although, you know, when I have my baseball cap on backwards, I could be mistaken for not a girl, which is sad. So, I just don't care today. I'm so sleep deprived, I don't care. Hi, Lori. So I'm watching the spring training game the Dodgers lost. I was watching that too, but at the same time, I was checking in with some YouTubers on the Nancy Guthrie case, and I was writing bills, and I was participating in a live stream that was in Canada, and during that time, I hit my 2K. Brian Blankenship says, Myrtle Beach. Hey, hearts, I changed my mind. Thank you for coming in. You don't have to stay. Everybody give hearts some love. She is grieving, but we won't go into the details here unless she wants to say something. Linda Streeter, Michigan, thank you for commenting. Janice Rice, we're watching the games. Yeah, I signed up for that monthly packet just so I can see the Sportsnet LA, but they only show the games thus far. They don't show anything else. That's still blacked out. Oh, you're in Woodland Hills. Well, you're a Valley girl, just like me. You're a West Valley girl. I'm an East Valley girl. I did change my mind. A woman always has the right to change her mind. I just wanted to go over the things that we talked about earlier. You probably missed it, but I just wanted to say that in regards to Nancy Guthrie, it's day 36. It's the beginning. It's day 1 of week 6. Annie Tomaso's car has not been returned, is still a piece of evidence in an active, ongoing criminal investigation. Cell jammers may or may not have been used that may have affected the house that was behind Nancy's house. That was the same house where the dog was alerted that something was going on. Are you from California, California? Actually, Lori, I first came to California when I was only 15 months old. And then I left California when I was 4, and I returned when I was 18, and I've been here ever since. So I have been here most of my life. but I'm not a native. I'm close. Yeah, I've been following the Baseball Classic. I've been following that, the WBC. I'm really interested in the Japanese games, which I don't think I have any ability to see. I follow the baseball in Japan quite closely, and I've been, following what Shohei has been doing. I'm wondering if in the Baseball Classic, if Kershaw has pitched at all, because he's just kind of there as a backup. Melody Walker, I'm afraid she's gone. God bless her soul. Absolutely. And people are starting to look in the desert now, but I still have this strong sensation of water. But then yesterday I was like, oh, well, maybe it's not water. Maybe it's the desert. Wherever she is, please find Nancy. And I guess those people that somebody mentioned on my channel yesterday, the Cajun Navy guys, they are in Tucson now, and they are actively looking. And they're focused on the white vehicle that was seen 2.5 miles about 8 minutes or so after she disconnected from her pacemaker. Kellyanne says, I agree, she's not alive. Oh, is Canada at 6 p.m.? And is it on television? That's not on like a cable channel, because I probably can't get it. Now, if it's on like just regular Fox, I can get it through an antenna. Yeah, I know, that's sad. Hey, 20 people watching, 14 thumbs up. Do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. I'm celebrating my 2K subscriber count today, but I'm not celebrating it during this live because this is about Nancy. Oh, it's on now. See, so 6 p.m. your time, or I don't know where you are, Jane. It's 4 o'clock in LA. Oh, Fox Sports 1, no, I don't have that. Hey, Anthony, welcome back. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, I wasn't going to do this today just because I hadn't slept in only a few hours. And yesterday I went live, and I did a long form content mail call video, and I did a very quick short that I was kind of like hesitating to put up because there was just no production value in it whatsoever, but yet that's the one that's blowing up. And that doesn't really help me at all. But it's of my little Kelsa kitty. Yes, it is my microphone on my hat. Thank you for answering that. Welcome in, Malibu. Are you actually in Malibu? Are you a fellow Angelino? Because we got another Angelino in here. Is it Lori? Are you still here, Lori? Malibu B123. I like that. You are here. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, where's everybody coming in from? We got South Carolina. We got Woodland Hills. I'm in Los Angeles. Where's everybody else coming in from? I know where you are, Hearts. But you can still type it in the chat if you want. America. Hart says Maine. Kellyanne says Quincy, Mass. It's hot today in LA, and we have these Santa Ana winds that are finally calming down, but it's been really bad. And there's been power outages even around me. Florida, okay. I think you said that before. We're going to have 90s next week. So you combine the winds and the 90s, I mean, oh my God, it's like a disaster in the making. Hearts of Gold says, okay, I just wanted to check in. Much love all. Much love to you, Hearts. Hugs to you. I know you're going through a lot, my friend. I want you to just rest up and take it easy. You're welcome, Hearts. Thank you so much for coming in. So is anybody else hearing anything about this case that I haven't heard today? I know there was a, I saw it on another channel. It was just a clip. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but there was a javelina. Kind of looks like a wild boar, but there was a javelina that was eating the flowers at the memorial. And one of the YouTubers was like, hey, get out of here. And I was like, oh, just let him eat. Let him eat those flowers. Nancy would be like, hey, don't shoo them away. Yeah, it was interesting. I guess they're just in the wild there. It's spelled with a J like javelina, but if it's Spanish, like most words are in the Southwest, it would be javelina. Am I saying that right? I'll have to look that up. I'm like, ooh, what's that? It's so cute. Like, they're just walking around in the wild. I would suspect they have mountain lions there too. And see, that doesn't bode well. Like if she's in the desert and she's just dumped somewhere and she's not like buried, which would be very hard to do because of the lack of soil, but just mostly dirt and rock, sand and rock. That's just not good. And if it's going to be 90s here in LA, like next week, I think Tucson's going to be heating up, you know, fairly soon. And once they get to that point, you know, it's like Las Vegas, Tucson, Phoenix. Once they get to that point, you know, in the spring, it's no going back until like October. I mean, the YouTubers won't even be able to be out there. The mainstream media, anybody that's left out there, especially not being able to park their cars out on that street anymore, they won't physically be able to do it. It'll just be, you would be dead in like 5 minutes sitting out there. And it'll get that way quick, where it'll be over 100 degrees every single day. And it's gonna hinder any ground searching. And so I feel like we're up against the clock. If she's not in water somewhere or being held in a like a building or a home, and she has been, you know, unalived, and her remains have been dumped, and if they are in the desert, you know, there's a very, very small window of opportunity to find that now. I don't know why the sheriff doesn't have the boots on the ground. Sant says, Tommaso's band in Tucson, Early Dark, and Kalela's band in California, Secret Mutilator, I remember a Secret Mutilator, used same band promoter named Mojito. Kalela's band played in Tucson 6 weeks before abduction. Whoa, that's interesting. I knew that he had a band, the Derek Kalela guy, because he had like I think it was an Instagram that was the Secret Mutilator, and I'm like, what the? But I didn't know that he had any association with Early Dark. That's a very interesting development. And I could say it's a coincidence, but as a licensed private investigator and a PI period for 42 years, we don't really believe in coincidences. You can never convince me in any aspect of life that there are coincidences anymore. Kellyanne says, I believe she's not far from her house. Well, that's why they need to be looking not far from her house. Every ditch, every body of water, every lake, every cave. Apparently there's caves that are out there that are to the north. You know, and if she is left out and not buried or underwater, I mean, by the time they find her, there just may not be anything left. It's just so awful. And I did stop going down the psychic rabbit hole. I just can't do it anymore. Especially it just, you know, even though I don't really believe in all of that, especially with the spirit boxes, it just broke me when she, you know, the lady in Australia, you know, allegedly was talking to her, and she said that she felt she didn't have enough worth for the family to have paid the ransom. It was just horrible. And I'm like, okay, don't get sucked into this, April. And I've looked at all the other possibilities, but my mind, being a detective and I've made a living off of it. And I've been single my whole life. So it's, you know, it's been me I've been on my own since 18, and I've always, you know, managed this far, even with everything that has happened, to keep a roof over my head. So I must be pretty good at what I do. I'm not good at YouTube. I'm okay at, you know, when I was a metal detectorist, which I can't physically do anymore, I'm okay as a little teeny part-time reseller. You know, I'm okay as a treasure hunter, but being a PI is not just what I do. A friend of mine said this is who I am. And I've had detective spidey senses since I was born. And my senses say, go back to square one. Oh, hi, Caroline Ray. How are you? Where are you coming in from? Welcome in. Everybody, we got 23 people in here. I know a lot of interest there's not as much interest in this case, but it is, you know, day 36. It's day 1 of week number 6. Everybody hit that thumbs up. Oh, Ohio. How's the weather in Ohio? We're going to be 90s in LA. It is so windy here that the eagle nest that's very famous here with Jackie and Shadow was actually on the nest yesterday, and the wind was so strong, and it's about 8,000 feet up there between the elevation and the height of the tree. Shadow, who was the father sitting on the eggs, the wind was so bad that the wind got up underneath his tail and his body, and he went and face planted and almost blew out of the nest. And he held on with his beak, and I guess his whole body just like, he almost, you know, and those eagles are big. They're huge. They have like an 8-foot, you know, wingspan. They're huge. They're as big as my coffee table. And he was just almost tossed right out of the nest at 8,000 feet. Rain yesterday, but beautiful today. Well, that's good. I think our rain is probably gone now for however many years. We had a wet winter for LA. Well, not compared to other people, but compared to LA. LA compared to LA, we had a wet winter. That's interesting, Sant. I'm going back to your comment again. Let's go over it one more time. Tommaso's band in Tucson, Early Dark, and Colella's band in California, Secret Mutilator, used same band promoter named Mojito. Colella's band played in Tucson 6 weeks before abduction. And for anybody who doesn't know, Derek Colella is the man that was arrested by the feds for sending the copycat ransom demands to Annie and Tommaso's private unlisted cell phone numbers. You know, I thought about that. Like, did they use a database to get their cell phone? How did Derek Colella have Annie and Tommaso's cell phone numbers? And apparently his text was something like, what about the Bitcoin? And I guess he thought he was using a VPN, but, you know, he was an idiot, and they traced it right away, and they got him. And first they said LA, and then they revised that to LA County. Then they said Torrance, California, which is in the South Bay. And then they revised that to Hawthorne, the birthplace of the Beach Boys. You know, is Tommaso's band still active? You know, at least up to the point that this happened? Because I've heard that his band was still active, and then I heard that it wasn't. But then I heard that the reason that Nancy was delivered in an Uber to her daughter's house for dinner and game night on Saturday night, January 31st, was because Tommaso had the car at band practice and wasn't available yet to go pick her up. And I thought, band practice? Like, I didn't know the band was still active. And his bandmate, who is, I believe, the drummer, Dominic Evans, who's a very close friend of his, apparently, he says his children and he and his wife are going through a living, you know what, because of there's cars surveilling their house at night. And they've had to take their kids to like a relative's or a friend's house because they're that scared. And well, that just happens, you know, when you're a convicted felon. Some people consider you scary. But I guess Tommaso's not bothered that, you know, his good buddy is a convicted felon. I'm just shaking my head here. Maybe he's a good drummer. Maybe he's a nice guy, Tommaso, who doesn't hold somebody's past against him. But, you know, birds of a feather flock together. Most of the time. "17 people still here. Thank you." Is anybody hearing anything today that I haven't heard? It's very interesting what I was told about this YouTube channel. You know, I didn't write that down, and I won't get my chat back for a couple days. Is the person who gave me the name of that, Sant, are you still here? Oh, the Lifeboat. Let me write that down. The Lifeboat YouTube shows Nancy Guthrie, Fetish S Cult on 3.6 and part 2 on 3.7 explains how Tommaso Cioni, Derek Colella, Kayla Day, etc. are all connected. I'm writing that down, Sant, because I would like to check that out. Whether it's, you know, true or it's just total BS, I'd still like to, I like to know as much as I can about what's going on. Lori says, I think it's somebody very close in the neighborhood that took her. Possible. Yeah, what type of music, Jane Rice asks. I know it's very dark. Is it gothic dark? Is it emo dark? Is it satanic dark? But yeah, if you look at the, I don't know if it's still up, the Instagram page of Derek Colella, who's going to spend probably quite a bit of time in federal prison. He's associated with Secret Mutilator. I had no idea that they have the same band promoter, allegedly, as Early Dark. I've never even heard of bands like this. I mean, I know they exist, but I don't know. That's weird. And, you know, nothing against the Guthries, but, you know, Annie Guthrie, she just strikes me as a little odd, too. But Savannah, I just adore her. It just shows that, you know, parents can have children and they can all be complete opposites. Very, very. It's just odd. Their behavior's odd. They seem to be acting like they're hiding something, but it may not be. They may not be involved, but it almost seems like they're ashamed about something. And then even the note that Annie left at the scene is troublesome because it doesn't make a reference like "she will be found" or "we hope to find you" or "we hope to see you soon." It's all like they know that she's already gone and we miss you. And she probably is already gone. But I think the children would be the last people that would give up hope. It's just very telling. It all makes me wonder. especially with the second mortgage that nobody's talking about. Like, nobody's talking about this. I guess there's hardly anybody watching my YouTube channel, or somebody would pick up on that and they would look into it. Annie and the poetry gig. You know, I just heard that she's a poet. And I'm like, well, how do you make money as a poet unless you're writing lyrics for, you know, Taylor Swift? Judy. Welcome, Judy. You were right. It's just odd. And, you know, just like when I keep calling her Katie. I have Katie Couric stuck on my brain. I don't know why. Maybe it's all this medical stuff that I've been through. Savannah, when she makes those appearances and she reads, you know, a statement, she's reading from a script. There's probably somebody holding a friggin' cue card in front of her. Like, this is what you say. And when they're all sitting together, how they're sitting, but she's the leader. She's in the front. The siblings are kind of behind her. And they're showing this united front. Let me tell you, that is not natural. It's scripted. When they drove over there and they went to see the memorial, how they all walked together, you know, Tommaso in the middle, arms around both. It's all scripted. I am not on any medication except blood pressure and heart meds. Hi, Mike. That's an odd question, Theo. But hey, I'm an open book. No, I'm, you know, blood pressure, meds, and heart. I'm not even on my cancer drug right now. After 2,200 and I think it was 50 some days of treatment, I am no longer on my cancer drug. That's just, okay. I hope you're subscribed. I hope everybody's here subscribed. I hit my 2K mark today, but no celebration because not monetized. And for the few people, I'll mention this again in case you guys missed it, there were a few people who sent small donations this past week. And I don't name names unless someone says, you know, please shout me out, or they shout themselves out. And my mod, Kelly, she shouted herself out. And then there was a small Venmo donation, and I don't know who the person is other than the name on the account, but I don't recognize it as one of my users or one of my viewers. They must have seen my videos because they said it was regarding the Guthrie case. And I'm not going to out that person because they haven't said, oh, you can go ahead and mention my name. So if somebody does, you know, for whatever reason, decide to, you know, send something, you know, please put in the message, like, it's okay for you to announce this, or it's okay to shout it out in a mail call video, or it's okay to shout my name out on a live and thank me live. I'll be happy to do that. But only with permission. Everything you guys tell me in an email is private. Anything that is sent to the business address remains private unless you say, hey, it's okay. One time I actually got a gift when Alfie passed, and it was one of the sweetest things, but there was no card. And I put it out there on social media, like, will this person come forward? And I finally showed the gift because I was like, I don't know who sent this, but thank you so much. And I still have that. So if you're listening to this, thank you. Tom Rogers, welcome, Tom. Annie and that poetry gig is way out. Okay, we reread that. Yeah. Do you know more about her poetry gig? Like how do you work as a poet unless you publish your poems? Like, does she publish books? Does she write songs for people? I mean, how do you make a living? As I guess is what I'm saying. Hi, Deanna. Kurt, Curtis, I'm sorry. I was going to donate to you, but I'm from Great Britain, so it would be in pounds, and you clearly don't need any more of those. Cancer drugs. Okay, you're on a... Thank you for engaging, Kurt. Go ahead and send that if you'd like. That is so funny. Oh, I hit the wrong button. There you go. Bye-bye, Kurt. Oh, gosh. See, I got no mods in here right now. Yeah, that's what happens with cancer. You know, funny, when I was young, I suffered from ME/CFS. And at age 30, I was down to 109 pounds. That will never happen again. Oh, that's so funny. Well, we're going to add that to my list of triple chin, which I corrected as turkey neck, my yellow teeth, which are not yellow when I'm not on camera, my great looks, and my terrible looks. You know, that's why I got it. You guys got to help me. You got to watch these videos. We got to get me remonetized as soon as possible. So, you know, once I'm monetized again, every view, every click counts. And then when these jokers come in, and I'm not deleting any of them, I'm not forbidding them from being on my channel, I'm not blocking them, I just put them in a 24-hour timeout. You know, it'll be money in my pocket at that point. Right now, it's just an annoyance, you know, because I lose my train of thought because I have to answer their stupid questions. This says Joan Lawson. Oh, gosh. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Lots of red hearts coming. You know, at my age, with what I've been through, I'm beyond giving an F. And I can't say it because this is YouTube, and I don't want to get in trouble, but I don't give two Fs. I really don't. I'm just happy to be here. And I think most of my viewers probably feel the same way. Like, hey, we're just glad to see you. We're glad you're still breathing and you're not 6 feet under. Muhammad, like your lovely face smiling. Thank you, Muhammad. Where are you coming in from? I've seen you before. I know I may ask you guys that over and over again, but it really helps to type all that into the chat. Like, where are you coming in from? How's the weather where you're at? Have you guys heard anything new on the Nancy Guthrie case? Thank you, Kellyanne. I enjoy watching you, and I'm sure the rest of us will say the same thing. You know, I was looking at my metrics on my YouTube studio. That's like a backdoor to YouTube to see what's going on. And a large portion of my viewers are in their senior years. And that's great. But, you know, in a few years when we're all gone, it won't help me with the future videos because everybody will be gone. But I'll probably be gone too, so it won't matter. But, you know, I've got nothing that I guess the younger generations want to see. My lips. Oh, thank you, Muhammad. Yeah, that's the only part of my body that has any makeup on right now. In fact, I didn't even take off yesterday's. And I just went and I did a big CVS haul with a DWP rewards card, CVS rewards and coupons. And yeah, I got over $100 of stuff for like 26 bucks. But I've only worn it like 3 times. Brenda, this is her cuz. Give her a break. Her cheeks and neck look just like her dad and grandfather. Oh, wow. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I look the same way. Fortunately, April is super smart and analytical just like them. Yeah, my dad was an engineer. There's 4 engineers in our family. I don't need lipstick. I usually do. And nail polish. And you know what? I don't really like this color. It was free with one of the coupons, but it's a little dark for me. I usually like a lighter pink. And look how old my hands look. You can just call me Grammy hands now. Yes, I do have a Facebook page. It's April Davis PI. Feel free to send me a friend request. Zelda, I am in Boring, Oregon. It's supposed to get colder snow. Haven't had a single snowflake come down. Well, it's going to be in the 90s in LA, and it's been so windy that Shadow, the daddy eaglet, while he was resting on the eggs yesterday, almost blew out of the nest at 8,000 feet. Oh, you're new here. Well, welcome, Lori. Yeah, I try to remember, most of the usernames. I am single. And probably now for the rest of my life. The last 6, 7 years has been a crap show with the health and the cancer and the heart and everything. But thank God for my friends. But one of my best friends, it's her birthday this month, and dang, this is a hard month for me. It's her birthday this month, and it's my birthday next month. Our birthdays are 15 days apart, and we had spent every single birthday together in the very short 2.5 years that we knew each other. And now I have known her longer deceased than I have known her with us. And I had a tribute video, but there was some sound effects that I couldn't take out, some audio, and it got flagged, and so I had to redo it this week, and that was really hard. But I'm glad I did. It's up on my long form content. Be sure to check that out. And I also released a video that we took together on surveillance, and she always told me, if you ever release this, I'll kill you. Well, she's gone now, and her spirit's not even hanging around here anymore, so I'm like, come and get me. I dare you. She's probably laughing about it on the other side. Zelda, my husband is an engineer. Has PhDs in biomedical engineering and electronics engineering. He's retired from Motorola. Wow, that's impressive. Come to Dubai, I will cure your diseases. I would love to go to Dubai. But I want one of those first class tickets on the A380 on Emirates. I got a video on that. If you look at my shorts, there's one. And I'm trying to say that it's coming in on the north runway versus the south runways, because there's 2 south and 2 north. And I said, northbound runway. And then I was like, oops, but it was too late to stop the record button because the plane was already coming into view. So I goofed on the audio. But considering I was doing it without a tripod, it's a pretty darn good video. It's where they fly in over the In-N-Out and over Westchester Park. The old neighborhood from when I was 3. It's just massive. And they have to keep clipping the trees, because if the planes come too low, they'll clip the trees. It's just one of the best aviation watching places in the world. We have it all here. And you just hear the massive engines coming at you. It comes in once a day here to LA and then goes back to Dubai. But wow, what a long trip that would be. I don't know physically I could do that anymore unless I had one of those, $30,000, $40,000 tickets, and it's like having your own apartment. They even have a shower. I look 35. I wish I was still 35. Then I would know that my cancer was coming, and I would have been able to catch it sooner. Zelda, I am unable to fly because I broke my neck August 3rd, and now I have blood clots in my thighs and my lungs. Ooh. Yeah, I haven't flown in years. Funny, when I was a kid, I used to fly all around the world. I mean, not the whole world, but at least halfway around the world. And I was just so happy to come home to California when I came back that I don't go anywhere. I mean, I visited the East Coast once, saw Cousin Brenda during that time. That was the only time I traveled. And I've been to Vegas quite a few times, but not in 20 plus years, and it's 300 miles away. And I had a business meeting that was a seminar in Phoenix, 2014, 2015, something like that. And I just sped out of there because it was opening day at Dodger Stadium, and I was just hauling my butt through the desert to get home. I'm too old now, Muhammad. Very old. And I'll be even older April 12th. Yeah, that's a scary thought, because if my friend was still here, she was 4 years older than me. And we had our birthdays 15 days apart. So she was 4 years and 15 days older than me. So dang, she would be like an old woman. Let's see her video. She'd probably be the oldest, she'd probably be the prettiest woman of that age alive. I'm sorry about that, Zelda. Oh, wow, Kelly. Well, thank you for watching, you guys. Is there any more information that I haven't reported on about Nancy Guthrie? I just wanted to go over that. It was the start of week 6. It's day 1 of week 6. It's day 36. The body in the canal in Phoenix, where they had the police command set up, is apparently not related. Annie and Tommaso do not have their car, unless they suddenly got it back today. They do not have their car, as it is a piece of evidence in an active criminal investigation. But that is no indication of guilt. Just saying. I want to be very clear here. Anyone involved or even thought of being a potential suspect is innocent until proven guilty. Zelda says, I was born in Torrance, California. My grandfather owned the Van Nuys Quality Dairy on Sherman Way. Wow. And you're in Oregon now, right? Yeah, Torrance was apparently where that guy Derek Colella was, and now they've said Hawthorne, so I don't know. Is it Torrance or Hawthorne? Mr. Derek Colella. The mutilator dude. I don't know if Sant is still in here, but I'm going to have to watch that Lifeboat channel and see that video that he mentioned. I know, Zelda says, cracks me up when people say that Tommaso was the porch guy. That's hilarious. He's 6 foot something, much bigger. Oh, of course. He's much taller, that's for sure. Thank you, Muhammad. Hey, Jay, how you doing? I wasn't going to go live today because I had about 3 hours sleep last night with the time change. But I did yesterday. I did a live yesterday. I did a long-form content mail call video yesterday. I did a short that I was it had no production value whatsoever, but that's the one that's blown up, which really doesn't help me, but you guys can see my cute kitty cat. And today, while I was participating in a live stream in the chat in Canada that I usually go on every Sunday. Not like I'm not in the video, but I participate. It's in the gold community. I hit my 2,000 subscriber mark today, which is mind-blowing. Even my little La Metric YouTube counter that's right in front of me is flashing 2K, and I'm just like, I can't even believe it. So if I can make it that far, then it gives me hope that I can get those watch hours up, because every day that they add a couple more hours to my count, it's only counted for 365 days. So that means the last day of the year drops off, and then tomorrow they'll add another day, but then the last day drops off. So, you know, every day, yeah, they add some hours to that ticker, but it also drops off on the back end. So that's why, even with everybody watching, it's such a slow road back. Oh, you have 2. What kind do you have? Yeah, I have a video. It's a little short. Actually, if you go to my main channel page and you click my tabs, my playlist tabs, you can see a lot of my bunny and my cat. Let me guess. I'm around 54. I won't tell. I'm at the age where I can't tell anymore. What kind of cats do you have, Jay? And once again, if you're just coming in, and I don't want to beat this into the ground, but For those that didn't hear the announcement, I did receive 3 $1 cash apps, and it was from my mod, but she outed herself, so she's okay with it. And I did receive a $5 Venmo, and it just said for Nancy Guthrie case, and I did not recognize the Venmo username. And obviously they must be someone watching my video. And I don't know if they sent it on their own account or somebody else's account, because I didn't recognize the name. So I can't, I can't thank him or her, whoever it is, without their permission. Oh, you have 6 ragdoll cats. My Alfie, the love of my life, was part ragdoll. And I've never gotten over his loss. He got me through cancer. Ugh. But anything that is sent to my mailbox, whether it's my aprildavispi@gmail.com email, or somebody sends something to the business box, unless you say that it's okay to talk about it, I won't talk about it. I'll assume that you want it to be kept private. Your opinion, do you think they will ever find Nancy? I hope so. But the longer it goes, the less of a chance. And because this has been made to look like a BS kidnapping without a body, you have to keep looking. Yeah, she's definitely, I don't think she's alive. I mean, it doesn't take a medical doctor here to figure out that you can't live without that medication that she was on. She's got a pacemaker. She's probably on blood pressure meds, blood thinners, heart arrhythmia meds. You just can't live without that. Zelda says, after I broke my neck, was in a trauma center and then a care center for several weeks. When I came home, 3 of my cats peed on me. They never peed anywhere in the house. Totally bizarre. Oh my God. Oh, I'm glad you survived, Zelda. Yeah, we've all got something. Jay says, I'm 58 and have 6 daily meds. I know that's a lot. Yeah. That was just some funny comments earlier about meds and how I looked. You'll have to go back, Jay, and watch from the beginning. Watch the replay. Oh, 11 strokes? Oh my God. 3 major. Obviously, you're not meant to, it's not your time. Yeah, I don't want to have to experience that. That runs very rampant on my mother's side of the family. My welcome home cat peed all over my pajamas in my bed. Oh, that's so weird. Had to relearn to walk 3 times. Oh gosh, Jay. My bunny is arranging her furniture right now. I don't know if you hear that. That's her hide, and she's pushing it up in the air. Would you like a treat? I have your treat right here, if you want to come get it. She wants me to deliver it to her, but she can obviously walk this way. She'll look at me and she'll stick her tongue out. Zelda says, that's why I'm afraid of having these blood clots, is to have a stroke. That's scary because one of my blood clots went to my lungs. Oh, geez. Well, I'm praying for all of us. This will be a little apple banana treat if she decides to come over here. The cat is sleeping late right now, so she's not going to harass her. The problem is when the cat wakes up, she's all wired, especially in the evening, and then she wants to play chase with the bunny like she's a cat, but the bunny's not a cat. And it's very annoying. I've always wanted a Flemish Giant. Me too. And there was one at my local rescue, and it was just a baby, and it was already as big as my mixed Maine Coon and Ragdoll cat that had passed. It was already Alfie size, and they said, oh, it's just this rabbit's only a few months old. And they finally adopted him out. But I just cried every time I saw him because I was like, oh my God. I just have so many medical issues that I don't think there's any more animals in my future. Can't run marathons, but never could. Me either. Oh, the Flemish Giant. If I could have a Flemish Giant and I could actually have a thoroughbred Maine Coon, but I wouldn't buy one. I only adopt and rescue. Because there's cats and then there's Maine Coons. But back to Nancy here. Has anybody heard anything? Did anybody hear about the neighbor's dog? That was at the same house where the guy may have been a victim of cell jamming in the back. His cameras in the front worked, but not his cameras in the back. And they were awakened by their dog that night to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And he went straight to the backyard and was looking towards Nancy's property. Bon Bon's Cafe, welcome back. We had 17 rabbits, and once years ago, they lived in our big fenced-in yard. It was so fun. Oh, wow. Yeah, I had rabbits as a kid, too. But they weren't like house rabbits like I've had in my adult life. The dog was barking and looking towards Nancy's house. Yes, it was. That was in the same house where the guy has since discovered that his cameras in the back, that they went offline during the moment that they think she was abducted. And that's why they're saying that possibly one of the suspects or a suspect had a cell jammer. And there is something in the suspect's pocket, the guy at the front door, ski mask guy, but that could also just be a walkie-talkie, also known as a two-way radio. Deanna, do you want to know what I really think about Nanos and his whole investigation? I think it sucks. He's not cooperating with the FBI. They're on two different pages, and he should never have unsecured that crime scene. Jay says, my big gray long hair is over 15 pounds. My small sleek black is around 9. Oh, those are your cats. Okay. Yeah, he just, the first 24 to 48 hours is the most important in any criminal investigation. And you've got somebody who's been abducted and most likely unalived. Once it passes that 48-hour mark, and in her case, she needed pills within 24 hours or she would not have been able to survive. And they did not take her medication. So I doubt they went and, went to a pharmacist and said, hey, can you give me this, this, and this? Like, that just didn't happen. And they're like, oh, well, the cartel, they could have taken her and, they could get drugs easily in Mexico. That's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard. Why would the drug cartel want an 84-year-old woman? And then if they did kidnap her, they would have kept her alive. They would have planned for all of this because they would have wanted the ransom. They wouldn't do some janky kidnapping like that. It just makes no sense. But nothing about this makes sense. Kellyanne, I would like to know why they keep going to Mexico like they know she's in Mexico somewhere. Because of information that was provided in one of the ransom notes. Zelda, when this is solved or over, I believe the Sheriff Nanos is going to be sued and they're going to get rid of him. I was a sheriff's deputy in San Diego County years ago. Oh, wow. That's awesome, Zelda. Yeah, there's somebody else that comes in here. I think it's Leanne she mentioned she was in law enforcement, prior law enforcement too. So, hey, to the women in law enforcement or private detectives here. That's right up my alley. That's great. Well, thank you for your service. Oh, the bunny came out for her treat. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, everybody. All I do is eat and sleep and go to the bathroom. But I'm very happy I was saved from the kill shelter hours before death, formerly known as Rabbit 8. Rescued from the Mar Vista Horde. Yeah, you can research that, Mar Vista Horde. She doesn't like to be picked up. Limited touching is okay. But she's absolutely the love of my life. I love her more than anything in the whole world. Thank you, Kellyanne. Thank you, Jay. Jay says, local law enforcement working on huge cases like this is useless. FBI doesn't seem better. The old Fat Boys Institute. Years ago, an old boss of mine, former Fed, used to say that. And they're not on the same page with nanos. And remember, they weren't called in right away because it was not a known alleged kidnapping at that time. They don't come in for a burglary, robbery, murder, senior alert. They don't, they weren't called in immediately. Deanna, this is not a robbery gone bad. They would have not taken her. They would have at the most tied her up and took what they wanted. Exactly. And they wouldn't have spent 40-some minutes in the house with all the lights on either. I'm not so sure that someone didn't access a safe on the property for documentation or documents. Because they certainly didn't appear to have, she's not here to go through her own house and say what's missing. But apparently no jewelry, nothing was taken. The purse, the wallet, her cash, her keys, her car, her phone, everything was left behind. Even her meds. Nanos has destroyed this case with Nancy Guthrie opening up the crime scene hours later. It just doesn't make sense. Yes, from the time the sheriff's department was notified, the crime scene was unsecured in 20 hours. And that's per his word, 20 hours. I'm not making this up. That was before her car was towed, before her garage was searched, before the neighbor alerted them to another camera that was on the roof that they didn't even find. Oh my God. The broken glass from the broken strobe, the search of the septic tank, everybody from, Pizza Man to Amazon, mainstream media, non-mainstream media, YouTubers, internet sleuths, neighbors. How many hundreds of people walked over the blood? It is ridiculous. It's just a joke. I just can't even believe it. And I'm not in law enforcement, but as a private detective, I've seen a few cases like this, but kidnappings, except for like domestic kidnappings involving children, kidnappings are really not that popular anymore. But I'm still not convinced this is a kidnapping. I don't think, they're holding her for ransom somewhere, waiting for their $6 million in Bitcoin. It's just ridiculous. Did you notice on the front porch, there's a package, Amazon delivery package that has been there for over a week, not picked up. Same with the mat at the front door. What the heck? Yeah, right after this happened, there was an Amazon package. If you walked up the steps to the front patio, it was on the right. And at some point, maybe somebody retrieved that. And also, people were putting their hands all over the mailbox, The mail is being regularly delivered instead of being held. There should be no mail delivery coming to that house. They will find her. I hope so. They found her at a lake? I haven't heard that. Tell me more, Sandra. I haven't heard anything about her being found. Did that just happen in the last 79 minutes? You know what? I should have been making a list. We could make a whole video about some of these yahoos. I hope they come back. I only time them out. I don't delete them because I'm waiting for a remonetization. And I want them to come back and be trolls and, you know, give me clicks and likes or even dislikes. It helps. Every penny counts. Deanna says, exactly. And when they do find this creep, the district attorney's going to have a hard time. Yes. Because he let the crime scene go too soon. Yes. And contaminated the crime scene. The family deserves better. Absolutely. I mean, look what happened with OJ. Now, there are jurors, though, that have come out since recently. I just saw this. One of the jurors said that they all kind of knew that OJ was guilty, but they voted innocent because of what the police in Simi Valley, it wasn't Simi Valley, that was the second time. Okay, what the police department had done to Rodney King, and that was LAPD. That was in the Foothill Division. But then they had I think they had the civil rights trial in Simi Valley where they were found guilty, but the cops, they were LAPD officers, Foothill Division, and they beat the living daylights out of Rodney King, almost killed him. And that mostly African-American jury decided to, inflict a little payback. So they let, a person who they believe was a killer go as payback to LAPD, like, we got your back, Rodney. Kelly says, Kellyanne, the fact they were in the house for 45 minutes, I wonder if they found what they were looking for, because if they were going to kill, they would have killed her then. I don't know if they found what they were looking for. They had 41 minutes to do it. I think if they were taking something out of the safe, they needed to keep her alive to have her open the safe or give them the codes. I'm not opening mine. She had quite a bit of spice to her. I think she fought back to the end. The bike camera he had on his mouth for sure had his spit and drool all over it. Yes. And when he picked it up with his gloves, he contaminated his gloves with his DNA from his spit. So it would. Bike camera. Yes, that's what it's called, a bike camera. Jay says, I was in an Arby's during OJ verdict, entire staff cheered. I was actually very closely connected to that case because I worked in Brentwood when that happened, and he lived one street over from, we had an estate at Mandeville, the former Peter Lorre estate that we were working out of, and Rockingham was one street over, and we had clients 4 houses down, big clients. And then the Mezzaluna was across the street from that company's mailbox that I helped them set up. And I had seen Nicole just probably within a week or so before her murder driving OJ's white Ferrari with a personalized plate that apparently translated to late for a date. But I didn't pay attention because I was always like looking at that plate. I'm like, oh, there's that Ferrari again in that plate. And then, of course, LAPD, West LA, they were all involved, and I worked with, a lot of people over there. They didn't take her opioid pain meds, so they weren't drug seeker. I haven't heard if she was on opioids. I know that she had a heart issue. Hi, Dawn. You might have to see this on the replay, Dawn. But please stay here while you're here now. Yeah, I hadn't heard about opioid pain meds. But yeah, they don't know of anything that's missing. But it's not like Savannah was here every day or Cameron was here every day. And of course, if something was missing, you know, Annie's not going to come over and go, oh yeah, that diamond ring is missing. Why do they just come across as, oh, I have so much shame? And they may have nothing to do with the case, this case, the abduction. But why the second mortgage? How does a 6th grade teacher pay for a house that they bought less than a year ago from the time this case happened? But yet they were the caregivers because everybody else was out doing their career. They lived, you know, 10 minutes away. I'm okay, Dawn. I'm exhausted. I did hit my 2K today, but we're not celebrating here because this is about Nancy. But I'm happy about that. I was busy making videos yesterday. I did a live, I did a short video, and I did a long form content. What about the son? How close was it to his son? Whose son? I know that Nancy's son is in the military in Vermont. Thank you, Don. Woot woot. 2K, I know. I can't believe it. Now I just have to get those watch hours up. Because you know what? Not just that I need to be able to pay myself back for the thousands of dollars that I've spent on this channel over the years, but I can't wait to be monetized again, so when these trolls come in, you know, that, you know, tell me about my, you know, my ugly, yellow teeth, turkey neck, that I'll be getting compensation every time those people come in. Because those views, those pennies do add up. Remember, a penny saved is a penny earned. Zelda says, they said that she took pain meds and she would have withdrawals if she didn't have them. That could only be opioids that she would withdraw. That's very possible. Who said that she had pain meds? Dawn says, went antique shopping today, was so excited, found some goodies. Ooh, I love that type of shopping. Well, I'm kind of more vintage than antiques, but yeah. Brenda, if it was someone that really knew her and wanted to keep her alive, they would have also taken her meds. Exactly. That's why the Mexican drug cartel did not come across the border and then throw her in a trunk and take her back across to Mexico. That just didn't happen. But you know, one of the ransom notes that the FBI seems to think could have some legitimacy to it talks about possibly somebody being international, or at least the follow-up notes where some guy is saying, hey, I have information and I want some money and yada, 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 and be prepared to go international. Oh, thank you, Zelda. I appreciate it. I'll check it out. Let me go to my YouTube studio and see what we got here. And unless you guys have a channel, there's no way for me to know, like if you're subscribed. Well, yesterday it was at 1980 and it just updated to, can you see that? No. Well, it updated to 2008. Oh, I touched it, that's why. Let's try it again. Dashboard. 2008. Hey, 2 more and my little dinger will go off again. Boy, when that went off today, I was sitting at my desk writing bills, and I heard the ding ding, the little bicycle ding ding, the bicycle bell. But I already knew because I was also on a live at the same time for somebody else's channel, and somebody in the chat, it was, I took a picture of it. It was Florida something storm chasers. Said, hey, you're at 2K, and I think they were number 2K, possibly. Don McWhorter, for some reason, this case is being drawn out. For some reason, I think it might go cold. Well, they should have had it solved in the first 24 to 48 hours. Fake notes. Most likely, Jay. Absolutely. This is not how a kidnapping works. This is not how a robbery works. This is not how a burglary works. I go back to square one. The night that I heard about this, either somebody who's seeking money or revenge against Savannah, Number 2, somebody she knows, somebody close to her. Yeah, 2008 now. But I've got to get the watch hours up. And that's why I was like, you know what? I feel like crap. They'll probably think I'm drunk when I don't even drink. Oh, but you know what? I need the watch hours. So we're going to go and we're going to talk about Annie Tommaso's car, the body in the canal, that it's day 36. We're in day 1 of week 6. We talked a little bit about the cell jammers or the two-way radio that was in the pocket, the neighbor's cam, 2 of them freezing or having video not available for the moment that she was abducted, and their dog insisting on going out in the middle of the night to the backyard to look towards her property. I hope they know what time that was that the dog went out, because the dog obviously heard something. Something disturbed that dog enough to want to go outside. Dawn says, I honestly wonder if it was someone close to them and are keeping details under wraps, because if it wasn't, I believe they all would have gave up a while ago. I think the family definitely, I think Savannah knows more than what is being talked about publicly, especially with her going back to New York. Sunshine Days, welcome back. The elderly do not do well with sudden change. This is unfortunate. Yeah, such a wonderful life, and then for it to end like this is ridiculous. And if they don't find the body, you know, the children and the grandchildren will never be able to get over this. I'm not going to get over this. And I don't even know Savannah. I know a couple of people who do, but not like well enough to, you know, send them a message and go, hey, tell me about, you know, like, it's just sickening. Will it help if we all flood your channel with yellow hearts in memory of Nancy? Absolutely. Because I think when YouTube sees the comments and they see the thumbs up and they see the hearts, then it brings more of an audience. I don't think they will. It's been too long already. Well, there's got to be a body somewhere. And I'm still on a psychic level. I've said water from the beginning, but then I was like, well, maybe she is in the desert. But if she is, she's been out there too long. I don't think anybody went out there with a shovel and dug a hole. I am not monetized now. But if you missed, and I'm sorry if you were here earlier and you'll have to hear this speech 2 or 3 times. This week, and this has never happened in my YouTube channel history, one of my mods sent me $1 3 times. And I wasn't going to mention it, but then by the time she sent the second $1, she outed herself in the chat and was like, hey, you know, check your Cash App. She outed herself. So I can talk about it. And it's almost like she wrote goofy or LOL for dollar number 3. And the same day, somebody on Venmo who I do not know and I do not recognize their name whatsoever sent $5 and said Nancy Guthrie case, or Guthrie case, for Guthrie case in the little like subject matter. You know, you put something in the description on Venmo and it said for Guthrie case. And so I'm assuming obviously it was a watcher, but I'm not going to call their name out because I don't have their permission. And if you send me an email through aprildavispi@gmail.com, it's private. Unless you tell me in the email, I want you to read this email online, you know, on air. It's private. And if you send something to the business address, it's private. So if for some reason somebody decides to send something, please let me know that you want a shout out, you want it mentioned live, or you want it mentioned in a mail call. I did a mail call video yesterday on the long form, because I'm really behind on my long form videos. And those are hard to make anyway now because I don't get out very much. But unless I have permission, I will not shout you out. Deanna says, she did not go back to work. She went to be with her colleagues. They're all very close is what I'm hearing anyway. Yes, she is not back to work. Animals, etc., as demented as that sounds. Exactly. You know, I went through this as a kid. My family's been, well, I've been through three things in my life. Somebody in my immediate family was kidnapped for ransom, for real, and it was before I was born. I can't discuss it. When I was about 11 or 12, went on a family vacation, came home to find out that two workers that we knew personally that worked at our local supermarket, that they had been robbed at gunpoint, not kidnapped, but abducted, and they were presumed dead. And a few weeks after we returned to learn all of this terrible news, their bodies were found. And it was somebody that we didn't know the suspects, but we knew of the family. And it would make a whole video. And then when I was in high school, in the 10th grade, September the 11th was the day. A teacher brought a gun to school, unalived another teacher, and I almost walked in on it. And that's a whole story. That's a long video, and I don't think I'm ever going to go there. And it was on the national news because things like that didn't happen. I'm old as dirt. Those things didn't happen. And I predicted the woman was going to actually do it, even though I didn't know her personally, and she did it. And I always said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope, figuratively speaking, I don't, want to see her kill somebody. I didn't know that I meant that literally, because I almost saw her kill somebody. So, between a kidnapping and my family always being afraid that I would be kidnapped, and putting that kind of stress on me, and then the murders, they were called the Delchamps murders, and then the shooting at the high school is something I've had to live with my entire life. Let's see. I missed something, Sunshine Days, unless Google is hacked again. Zelda, John Duffy was the sheriff for San Diego County, and he danced with me and kissed me on the cheek, but was just innocent stuff. Okay. Leaving with hope of discovery does not make sense. You would wait. I think they know. Oh, you mean Savannah going back to New York? I am not married, Lush. Oh, I do have a mailing address on the main channel page, but I'm just trying to say that if somebody sends me something to my business address, I'm not going to shout it out unless you say, you write me a little note and say, it's okay to shout this out on your live, or this is okay to put into your mail call. Because I actually did a mail call yesterday, which is shocking. I hardly ever do mail calls. Usually if I do a mail call, it's about like things in the gold community, things that I won online, or I bought some gold, and here's, I'll do a mail call like that. But I actually did a legit mail call video yesterday. Please see it after this video. It's not too long. It's a short video. I mean, it's a long form, but it's a short long form. And so if somebody decides to email me something or send something physical in the mail, unless you write a note in there and says, April, you have my permission to share this, I will keep it private. Or I'll show it and say, this was sent anonymously. I had a medical donation this week, actually, that came not for my YouTube channel, because, my YouTube channel basically sucks. But it made $8 this week. I had a medical donation this week, but that person wishes to remain anonymous. So if anonymous is out there, thank you. So I hope that clears things up, Sunshine Days. Don McWhorter says, I can't even fathom how the Guthrie family feels that hurt and pain of losing their mom, grandmother, friend, etc. Why on earth would anyone have the audacity to take an 84-year-old woman? Either because they were after Savannah in a way, either revenge or money, or it was somebody close to the family, most likely. Now, I could be totally wrong, and I'll eat my words, but that's usually what it is. Most people that are killed or unalived, it's by somebody they know. And I'm not saying that she's deceased, but it's not looking good. Zelda says, I'm thankful to hear that you don't believe that John Bonet's family was not involved in her murder. They were not. The spider webs are almost impossible to remove or break. Yeah, they were not involved. You know, there's so much not involved that Patsy Ramsey could raise from the dead and walk through my front door right now and confess, and I would call her a liar. Hi, Mike. Losh says, can I marry you? That's my second marriage proposal since I started this series. I don't know who you are, Losh. Dawn says people have just lost their damn mind. Yeah. Jay says, no point saying I think they can call her directly, even on air. She can walk off to take a call from Arizona PD or FBI. All would understand. Absolutely. You know, she can't put her life on hold forever. And her mother wouldn't want her to put her life on hold forever. I've heard that Cameron, even though he's no longer a fighter pilot, I've heard that he's still actively in the Vermont Air National Guard, and he's had to return to work, supposedly. Watching my ragdoll videos will make you sleep. Okay. It'll remind me of Alfie. Parsley Ramsey. Who is Parsley Ramsey? Oh, hi, Kelly. We are 101 minutes into the video that I wasn't going to make today because I haven't slept today. And I did announce the 2K subscriber thing. I sent you a text about that, but we're not celebrating that here right now. Zelda says, I'll be watching some of your videos. Yeah, I got tons of videos. I've got like at least 400 or more videos. In fact, I can look that up right now. And you guys can go to my playlist. So this is not a niche channel, which is probably why I suck at this. It's not a niche channel. This is just about my life since I survived cancer. I started this December 2020. And I suck worse than I suck now when I started. Let me go to my YouTube channel. I got my YouTube studio open, so I have to close that tab. I don't like the way this new iPad is constructed. The way the tabs work. 471 videos. Probably not including this one. And I didn't even make a thumbnail yet for today's video. You know, I'm running out of pictures to find for Nancy because I want them all to be different. Now, 2 of them are the same, and that's because I had an audio issue. An alarm went off and it cut my audio, and there was no way to get out of it other than to close it out and start a new one. So that was the only 2 where I have like part 1, part 2, and most people didn't come in for part 2. They can watch it later. But yeah, I'll have to do a thumbnail later tonight. And I've got 471 videos, including long form, shorts, and live. But make sure you hit playlist. You can see everything from gold panning to reviews to famous homes, holidays, news, true crime, how-to, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Animals is a really good one. Entertainment, that's a good one too. Reselling, only if you're a reseller. Sports, everybody likes sports. Money, there's all kinds of things to watch. Let me know what you're interested in. I'm probably not going to do anything for the 2000, Kelly. Oh, your phone had died. Just saw it. Wow. Ted Williams is your 3rd cousin. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, he's the one who he's in the deep freeze since his death, or at least a part of him. I'm probably not going to do anything. I probably won't celebrate until we get the subscriber or the subscribers definitely help, because the more people are subscribed, the more people that are watching. But the majority of the people that watch are not actually subscribed, sadly. The most percentages are people that are not subscribed. And those people, everybody needs to keep watching, because every day that I add a few more hours, then the back end falls off. And then the next day they add a few more hours, 4 to 5 days behind, and then the back end falls off. So that's why it's just very, very, very slowly creeping up. And if something happens and I can't go live or I can't do a video, then it'll just go right back down the toilet. And it's calculated every 365 days, with today being a new day. So I don't really have a lot to celebrate right now, but I am very pleased. It did bump my subscribers up. I think not the views, but the fact that I'm doing this series on Nancy Guthrie. And I've had more views since this Nancy Guthrie thing happened. And, you know, thank you, Nancy, wherever you are. But I don't want to have to grow my channel because you've been abducted. But I will report this. I will report this for as long as I have to. Even if she's found, you know, and they can arrest somebody and there's going to be a trial, and I will continue to follow this. Yeah, I've had an awful lot of views this month, more than the usual since this started. And they only count those the last 28 days. But I've had 57.3 thousand views, which is 50,000 more than usual. I've added 331 subscribers in the last 28 days. That's probably not counting today. And I have 1.5 thousand watch hours in the last 28 days. So that's tremendous. But estimated revenue, look what it says. 0. And if you missed it, Kelly, you'll probably see it on the replay. Because you outed yourself with the those little cash app donations, I knew it was okay to talk about it. But for anybody that sends something, unless they give me permission or they out themselves out in the chat, or they send something to the mailbox or to the Gmail, you know, I'll keep everything private. I won't name anybody. Like when I do my mail calls, if somebody says, no, you know, I'll say, hey, I got this $10 today, but they wish to remain anonymous. Yes, his head is cryogenically preserved. And I think in Arizona too. That's unbelievable. Wow. I was hoping other people would see it and donate their $1. Yeah, because you know what? I think how this got started is when I was doing some of these lives, I would have 2,000 to 3,000 people come in. Not all at one time, but during that live broadcast where I'd be on for like an hour, hour and a half, and it'd be like, oh my God, there was 3,000 people. I was setting records. The amount of people that were in the chat, the amount of people that came in throughout the live. And I said, geez, if every one of those people could just send $1, I could pay my pharmacy bills, my surgery copay, and my third ambulance bill all in one swoop, just done. But that didn't happen. And so I had the $3 and I had the $5 anonymous for the Guthrie case. And then I did have a medical donation this week, but that's anonymous. Does the hearts help you? I think it helps bring people in, Deanna. So thank you, Kelly. Yeah, that's really interesting about Ted Williams. You know, I'm not sure, and I would need a genealogist to figure this out, but I did a deep dive into my ancestry a few years ago before this whole cancer crap happened, and then I kind of like stopped doing it. And I found out that on my dad's side of the family, going way, way back, because it was basically Welsh and German, but some of the people from Wales actually moved into Ireland and kind of hijacked the country. And some of them were of royalty. And I can prove this now. I've got the whole like timeline that goes back to the 1600s. And eventually those relatives came to the United States, fought in like the Revolutionary War. It goes that far back. The Davis family actually helped establish the territory of North Carolina. I never knew that. My dad never knew that. He never knew the Irish connection. And that the Davis family, the Boones, the Carters, and the famous Irish Bryants were all related. And the baseball Boones, who I have adored, like since I was a child, they are actually direct descendants of Daniel Boone. And Daniel Boone is also related to someone in our family, but I don't know if we're all distant cousins or if the bloodlines have crossed, but there is a possibility, ever so slight, that I could be related to the baseball Boones, because the Boones and the Davises are related. But it would take a genealogist to go put all those pieces together to figure it out, to confirm it. Or we could just call like Aaron Boone, Brett Boone, Matt Boone, Ray Boone, Bob Boone. Well, Ray is dead, but Bob is still alive, and say, hey, can we like share some DNA samples here? Because I was at their house once. I never met them, but I've been to a property that they owned in Medford Lakes, New Jersey, when Bob played for the Phillies. My grandfather did a family tree, and we are Scot-Irish. We are all part of royalty as well. Yeah, I was shocked. His mom's name is May Venzer. Ted Williams is May Venzer. Ted Williams is May Venzer, who is my grandfather's first cousin. He's part Mexican, is ashamed of his Mexican heritage. Just sent me another buck. Oh my God. Well, shout out to Kelly Ray. You know, it's helping pay for the equipment. Remember, 2 or 3 nights ago, the cords got all tangled up because I was shooting from my desk. I was filming this from my desk, and the cords got tangled around my legs. And when I stood up, the camera flipped over, slammed against the floor. My receiver broke, my adapter broke, and my mics, which were fine, could no longer be used because I didn't have the adapters. And the first pair I ordered, I thought, they're not going to come on time. Let me order another pair. So I got the second pair first in the middle of the night. They dump it out in the lobby. I go out there in my, my night t-shirt, and the pair that I really wanted, when I unboxed them, they looked like they had been run over by a forklift, and those are on their way back to Amazon. So, yeah, I got to pay for the adapters and the mics, and I still need a backup pair, which I had planned to keep both pairs, but then one of them was, crushed to death in the box. And not the exterior box, but the box that the mics came in looked like it'd been hit by a forklift. And some, dimwit at Amazon, it was a box about this size, picked it up and even wrapped it with packing paper and put it in a nice new Amazon box. Completely smashed to smithereens. So I've had a rough week, people. And I was back at the hospital this last week. I'm going to have to look into this Ted Williams thing. Deanna says, everyone keep tapping the heart and everyone flood her channel with yellow hearts. Yellow hearts, isn't that whatnot? We're on YouTube. I'm seeing the hearts here, but they're red. But thank you, I know what you mean. Dawn says, on my mom's side, though, her mom, we are related to Jesse James. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's amazing. I still want to know if we're related to the baseball Boones, because I know that the Davises and the Boones are related, but it's so complicated that I don't know if I'm blood connected to the baseball Boones who are descendants of Daniel Boone's, because somehow I think his sister or his daughter is related to us. So I'm not sure if we're just like very distant cousins or if we're blood related, but I have followed the baseball Boones since I was a child. And it's funny that I was on their property. And, I was from Southern California as a child. The family that I would live with occasionally in New Jersey, they were from Southern California, and the Boones were from Southern California. And it was so funny that we were all like on the East Coast in New Jersey, like at the same time while he played for Philly, And one of the Boone boys, Brett, was actually in my best friend's brother's class. And then they're like, oh, and he has a little brother too named Aaron. And as we know now, Aaron is the manager for the New York Yankees. Now, I'm a Dodger person, so, I'm not a Yankee person, but it would be pretty cool if, like my distant cousin was managing the New York Yankees, just saying. So I would love a genealogist to be able to do a deep dive, because it's all connected through this royalty that came from Wales to Ireland to the U.S. But on my mom's side, my mom's Irish side, they were indentured servants. So they were like, you know, if they had been on the Titanic, they would have been on third class, which is sad. Let's see. Zelda says, Ted dropped his middle name Sammy because it's our Mexican family. So you're saying that Ted Williams is part Mexican? And Kellyanne is saying hi to Kelly Ray. Jay says, distant relative of President General U.S. Grant. Zelda, my husband is a descendant of William Wallace Braveheart. Okay. Bonbons Cafe, we're all related, 6 degrees of separation. Exactly. Dawn says, my grandfather, his last name was Barr, but my grandmother's maiden name was Chapman. So might be related to Dog the Bounty Hunter. You never know. Oh, you know, Kelly, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to like finally close this out in a minute, but I need a mod here for just a moment because I should have taken the pill, temporary antibiotics that I'm on, and I should have taken that an hour and a half ago. But I had to turn off my pill alarm so they wouldn't cut off my audio. So, Kelly, thank you. I'll be right back, everybody. Okay, thank you. $5:32. I'll have to write that in my log. Let me put that in my notes. Thank you for being patient. Thank you, Deanna, for coming. Let's go back a bit. Oh, I'm missing a lot of this. Okay, Deanna. People are dropping off yellow flowers for hope in front of Nancy's house, so a few of the streamers are asking us to do the yellow hearts. That's all. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can only see red. Small world. Thank you, Kelly. Zelda says, Ted W., Mom, May Venzer, and my grandfather, Moses Hernandez, are first cousins who live in El Paso. Oh, Kelly says, my dad used to do genealogy at the library. So much easier now online. Yes. Bonbons Cafe. Yeah, back to what we were talking about. Where is Nancy? I still pray every day that she will be found. Well, I enjoyed you and the chat. Have a great night. Thank you, Deanna. Kelly, I wish I had asked him more questions about it, but I was young when he died. Well, 20. That seems young now. Yes, it is. Oh, I didn't know that, Zelda. Ted Williams is half Mexican. I did not know. Jay says, Wayman, Weedman's probably relatives on dad's side. Gran on mom's side. German, Austrian on dad's side. English on mom's side. Oh, So you mean yellow hearts in the chat rather than in the stream. Oh, I understand now, because if you double tap the screen, it's the red hearts. But you guys are typing yellow for Nancy. You know, that's a great idea. I can see the yellow ones in the chat, but the ones that are being double tapped onto the screen are red. So now I get it. Remember, I'm exhausted today. Well, we have 29 thumbs up, but only 12 people still here. And I need to eat. I didn't really eat much today, so I need to eat soon and go to bed early tonight. And I need to make a thumbnail for this video. I don't even have a thumbnail yet. And everybody came in, 120 minutes. Well, I've been on here way too long. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And make sure you guys go back to yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's live, or you just want to watch like a regular video, you can go to my long form content. Just click the video tab. You'll see my mail call, which is really cool. I got stuff from the Texas Rangers. That's like, never got anything before from a Major League Baseball team. And I did a little short that I took no time at all to do, almost didn't release it, and now people are watching it. So I'm keeping it up there for now. Have a good night, Kelly. Have a good night to all. Thank you, Jane. I intend to. Thanks for coming. Love you all. And hopefully we will chat soon.